Hi everyone, Chef Ron here, and welcome to our final episode. That's right, the final episode of the Chef Ron Locke Show for Season 1. I know. Before we get started, I just wanted to let you know, you're not going to see any cast members today. I'm not doing any of the characters today. This is going to be a Chef Ron solo project today. I wanted to end the episode with a special episode, and I'll explain that to you as you start watching the show. You'll understand why I'm doing this completely on my own today. And so that's all I'll say about that. So no characters. What you see is what you get. Chef Ron from start to finish. So hope I don't bore you all too much in the process. But anyway, we've got a great recipe for you. We're going to be doing for you, and I'll be getting to the ingredients here in just a moment. So I just want to make sure you all know that, and also I want to make sure that we hope to give you the 3 E's we always do on every episode. That's a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of education, and a little bit of enlightenment. So for our final episode of Season 1's The Chef Ron Locke Show, I'm going to start heating up this kitchen right now. Let's get this show rolling. Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chef Ron Locke.
Hi everyone, Chef Ron here. How's everyone doing out there today? Alright. Yeah! Well, thank you so much for coming to another episode of the Chef Ron Locke Show. This happens to be our last episode of this season, this first season we've had. I know. It's been a short season. We started at the end of March, and we've been going non-stop since the end of July here. And we're going to take a little bit of a break. We're going to take about 6 weeks off during the months of August and into early September. I need to finish a cookbook, and I also need to take a little bit of R&R. I've been going non-stop here over the last year, just about trying to get a lot of this stuff together for you guys on this first season. And so we're going to take a little break and going up to Wisconsin, visit some family. Going to be going to New York with a good friend of mine, and so it'll be a fun 6 weeks. Trust me, I'm going to make the most of it. But we'll be back with some new things coming up for Season 2. You're going to notice some subtle changes. We're still going to have the same cast characters. We may be adding an additional 1 or 2. I don't know. Some surprises, you know. As Lillian would say, why not, right? I mean, really. So, we want to have a little fun, you know. I mean, Smokey's got to take a break once in a while. So, anyway, it looks a little different when I'm doing him out of the garb and everything like that. But anyway, I love the characters. So obviously, I'm taking the characters off this week. This is the final show. This show actually is a little special to me, and I'll tell you why in a second. And I wanted to do this show solely on my own, because what we're going to be having today for you on our final episode here is my mom's stuffed peppers. Okay? And my mom has actually 3 different stuffed pepper recipes through the course of her lifetime. The one we're going to do for you today is her basic one. This is the one I grew up as a little kid. And then she started playing around with it a little bit more as I started getting into my adolescent years. And by the time I got out of the house and into the Air Force and into college and different things like that, and she had a whole completely different setup for it. So as my folks aged, she sort of accustomed it a little bit more. But this one's interesting because I'll tell you what, I looked on the internet. I wanted to see, stuffed peppers tend to be like chili. There's a million different ways you can do them. But most of the stuffed pepper recipes have rice in them. I'm sure most of yours out there do as well. Well, this recipe I'm going to show you does not have rice, but it's got a different filler in it. And it's not breadcrumbs. It's not breadcrumbs. Not really. We'll get to that in a second here in the ingredient presentation. So, the reason I wanted to do this episode is because, so two things. Number one, I love my mom's stuffed pepper recipe, the original one. The other ones are okay too, but the original one's my favorite. But secondly, it's the one that my brother, Randy, loved the best. Now, my brother Randy was the middle brother of our family, and he passed away from cancer on Valentine's Day this year, February 14th. Yeah. We knew about it a year ago that he had cancer. It was probably with him for a year or two before that. It was stage 4 by the time he was discovered, and so he really put up a good fight for about a year before he passed away. But our last conversation we had about a week before he passed away on the phone, we were talking about just stuff in general, and he was asking me how everything was going with the culinary world and the catering business, and I just telling him I was working on a cookbook, and I was telling him about this show because he knew I was putting this show. He knew about my first show I did, Chuck Wagon Cowboy Show, but he didn't really know anything about this new one, and I was telling him a little bit about it, and I asked him, I said, hey, you know, what's your favorite recipe of anything out there? What is something that you enjoyed making either from mom or from your own concoction? What was it that you enjoyed? And he told me he liked my mom's stuffed pepper recipe. Everybody loved my mom's stuffed pepper recipe. He does the different version of it. He does a different version of it. I think it's my mom's second version of it with the rice. She started adding the rice in the second version. But so I told him, I said, hey, look, I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to be working on this show. I said, my last show of my first season, I'm going to go ahead and dedicate this one to you. I said, I hope you're still here because I want you to see this, but if for some reason the cancer gets you before you don't get to see this, I just want you to know that I'm going to dedicate this episode to you, and I wanted to do it with something you loved, your favorite thing. I wanted to kind of put a little bit of a legacy out there for you. So that's exactly what we're doing today. That's exactly why I'm in black right now. It's kind of a morning type of a episode here and everything, and so it's going to be good though. It's going to be a great episode. He was a good guy, and he loved gardening. He loved gardening more than I do. I think more than my oldest brother does. This man had tomatoes that were probably 7 feet high. No kidding. This man knew how to grow vegetables, and he grew bell peppers. And so these bell peppers became stuffed peppers as he had to use them up. And of course, since they were his favorite, he didn't mind. So anyway, all right. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of a basis of what the basis of the show was going to be today, this episode was going to be, and why we're going to do this as sort of a tribute to my brother, Randy. All right. So, Randy, this one's for you, buddy. All right. Let's go ahead and get started with the ingredients. Shall I show you what's going in Mom's stuffed peppers? All right. First off here, we've got 1.5 pounds of ground beef, and you can get to the leanest ground beef you can. That'd be great. All right. Then we have here 3 pieces of sandwich bread that's just been pulled together in little pieces. Now this sandwich bread right here, that is what's replacing the rice, and it's going to be our filler for these stuffed peppers. I always say stuffed peppers are kind of like little mini meatloafs, really, in a way, if you think about it. It's just that they're encased in this pepper and they get that peppery taste. So anyway, all right, then next we have here 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 2 cups of ketchup, and we go over here, we've got 1/2 cup of dry vermouth. We've got here about 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. This is getting interesting now, isn't it? We've got here 1 large onion that's been finely chopped. Then we go here 4 tablespoons of brown sugar. We've got a mixture here of 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, and lastly, 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. This is all going into the final presentation of Mom's stuffed peppers. So, why don't we go ahead and get started? We're going to take just a couple seconds here and get stuff set up for you, and we'll be right back. So, stay tuned. All right, we are ready to go ahead and start making Mom's stuffed peppers right now. Now, the first thing you always want to do before you start any kitchen project is you want to make sure that your environment is clean and what? Your hands? Yeah, your hands got to be clean too. So let's start rolling up our sleeves here because we're going to start heating up this kitchen with some yummy, yummy Mom's stuffed peppers. This is really an easy recipe. You know, guys out there, any of you guys out there that are watching this, this is a fantastically simple recipe you could make for your family, friends, and loved ones. And, you know, impress them a little bit. You know, whoever cooks in your house, I'm sure there's probably days that they don't feel like doing it. And so it would be really nice, I'm sure, for the cook in the house to come home and smell this fantastic recipe we're going to do for you. So come on, guys out there, you know what? Get in that kitchen once in a while and help your significant other out. All right, let's do this. All right, now we washed the hands before this segment started, so hands are clean. We're going to go ahead now and get things started. First off, we have here our ground beef that's in a bowl here, medium-sized bowl. All right, now what we're going to do is just simply incorporate 4 ingredients to make our meat mixture that's going to be going in as the filling into our stuffed peppers, which we'll show you in the next segment. All right, first off, let's go ahead and throw our onions in, just like that. This is really easy, I'm telling you. This is a no-brainer here. Next, we're going to go ahead and do is throw in our bread pieces there, just like that. Now, we've got our garlic powder and our salt and pepper mixture. All right, just like that. Now, you can do this. I know some people are squeamish about getting their hands, especially in meat and mixing stuff up. If you're squeamish about it, I mean, you can put some gloves on if it, you know, you don't like the feel of it on your hands. If you are really just not into the whole mechanical part of it with your body, I mean, you can go ahead and just use a food processor. You can go ahead and try to use like a masher or something. I don't know. Hands are the best, trust me. If you can get past the squeamish point, this is the easiest way of doing it. So let's go ahead and do this right now. Just get in there and start smushing. And that's it. You just got to start smushing. You see how we're doing that? Okay. I like to first get kind of everything incorporated before I start flipping this around. It's a lot less to get messy on your counters or on your floor, because stuff will start flying when you start flipping this stuff around. You want to get everything nicely incorporated. Okay, you're going to see there'll be stuff on the bottom. A lot of onions like to tend to just fall because of the weight. Get those in that meat. You want to get everything really incorporated. I'm trying to keep this bowl center for our other camera here. I don't know how I'm doing. I'm hoping I'm doing okay. I hope you're seeing this, guys. Or at least getting the gist of it here. It's like that. You see how we're doing that? Like Play-Doh. Come on. When you were kids, come on, when you were a kid, you got in and played. In the dirt, you played in Play-Doh, you played in things. It's the same thing. We're just being adult kids right now in the kitchen and having a little fun, you know? That's what we're doing right now. All right, just like that. Just like that. Okay, there. And you've got a nice little incorporated ball here. I'm going to wash these hands here, since they're a little meaty right now. All right. Okay. And sorry about that. And so there you go. Like I said, right there is your mixture. Again, I hope the camera's on that. Now, let's go ahead and take this meat mixture and we're going to go ahead and start stuffing some stuffed peppers. All right, now we're going to go ahead and stuff our green peppers. Now, the first thing you want to do, as you can see right here, is you want to get 4 bell peppers. Now, you can get either green, red, orange, yellow. There's a whole slew of colors. You can use whatever color you like. The traditional one that we've always used was green, so I tend to just use the green one. But, you know, sometimes if I'm doing a festive party or something like that, or depending on what time of year it is, I may use a red or an orange or a yellow, you know, Halloween or Christmas or Valentine's Day, whatever, you know, whatever the red, orange scape of the colors would be is what I may use. But at any rate, green is a pretty safe color, it's pretty available, and that's what we're going to be using today. Now this recipe I'm giving you will yield 4 stuffed peppers. That's great for a meal of 2 to 3, and you still have a little left over if you want. Now go ahead and now you want to make sure on these stuffed peppers too that you go ahead and you slice the top off of them, and then you just go ahead and get the seeds. There's a little inside middle core with seeds and stuff on. You just go ahead and reach into that pepper and yank and twist and pull out. It's real simple to do. It pulls out nicely. Make sure you just get all your seeds out of the pepper and just trim any of the ribs around the inside of the pepper if they're sticking out or anything. Try to get it as even and as hollow as you possibly can. Alright, so at any rate, when you do all that, then you want to go ahead and get yourself an 8x8 casserole dish. I'm getting excited here. The smells just bring me back to when I was a child every time I make this. But anyway, so you get yourself an 8x8 baking dish like we have here. And you go ahead and place your 4 peppers, your 4 hollow peppers, into your baking dish, which is what we have currently right now for you to save a little time. Alright, now we're just going to go ahead and take our meat mixture and stuff them into our peppers. We're going to do one for you here, and then we'll come back and I'm going to show you this fantastic sauce we're going to be doing for you. But let's not jump ahead too far right now. Let's show you just how we're going to stuff these peppers. So let's go ahead and just take yourself a handful here. Again, make sure your hands are nice and clean. Just take a handful of your meat mixture and you're just going to push in, okay, just like that. I mean, this is really simple. There, you probably can see it better that way, just like that. And usually 2 good balls full, or 2 good hands full will do good. You just want to get it right to the top. You don't want to go mounding it because we're going to be putting sauce on top of this, and I want to have a little room for that. So I try to just get it even flush with the top of our pepper here. You see, just like that. So you're just stuffing it in, okay, just like that. All right, okay, there we go. And this plate just wants to keep moving. You know, I think for season 2 I need to get Velcro for some of these dishes so they don't move around, so my camera people here don't have a fit with me here while I'm doing this. Okay. So you get something like that. You just push it down, push it around, and just try to get it as close to the top as you can. Something like that right there. And that's it. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make the sauce that's going to be going on top of these stuffed peppers and in around it as well right now. Alright, now that we've taken our green peppers and stuffed them with the meat mixture, we set them aside for a moment. We're going to go ahead and make the sauce that we're going to be putting on top of our stuffed peppers and around the baking dish as well, inside the baking dish. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Get yourself a medium-sized bowl just like we have right here. And then just go ahead and take your ingredients. We've got our ketchup. We're just going to put that in here. Now ideally, if you weren't doing a cooking show at home, you could go ahead and just put the ketchup in here. You put all the ingredients into this bowl initially. Probably save you a little cleaning in the end. Alright, like that. Get another spoon here. See another one out here. Now we're going to go ahead and incorporate our 4 tablespoons of brown sugar. Just like that. Come on. Just like that. Alright. Then next we're going to go ahead and incorporate our dry vermouth. This is really going to jack up this sauce. Makes it so tasty. Now you can go ahead, if you don't want to use dry vermouth, you can use apple juice if you wish as well. That's probably what I would recommend for this particular sauce, if you don't want to use the vermouth. The vermouth really gives it a nice flavor. Now we'll take our Worcestershire sauce, add that in, and lastly, that's it, because we're going to go ahead and use the Parmesan cheese in a second. I'll show you where that's at. All these ingredients here. Alright, just go ahead and stir this up. Just like this. There we go. Incorporate that ketchup into the liquid here. Now, we do kind of want a little bit of a soupy sauce, because we want this to be spooned on and then poured over here when we're done. Alright, so take a minute or two to incorporate that. That looks good. Alright, let's go ahead and get some sauce on top of those stuffed peppers. All right, now it's time to put the sauce on top of our fantastic Mom's stuffed peppers that we have sitting here right in this baking dish. And what you want to first do now is go ahead and preheat your oven to 350 degrees. All right. And so let's go ahead and take our sauce, as simple as this. We'll just take a spoonful of this sauce, move this over just so it doesn't spill, and just pour it on top of each of your caps here. Okay. Just like that. Get a little more on there, obviously. Spoon it on, just like that. That. We're going to be pouring all this over it anyway, but I like to initially start off by getting it on the tops of these before we pour it, just so I can get all that goodness on it. And it's going to pour over a little bit on the side on some of these too, that's fine. We're going to be doing that with the other additional sauce here anyway in a second. Okay, just like that. Alright, just like that. Good. Now take the rest of your bowl and just go ahead and pour in and around, just like this. And I try to get a little in on the sides here, like that. Just be careful when you get to the edges because you don't want it to go over the dish here. That I just try to like smother the peppers as best as I can in this sauce. This will be the, see, you gotta be careful here. Just like that. Just like that. And then just go ahead and you can pour the remaining of it like that in the middle. It'll all bake in nicely here. Now, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and cover this. Let me get a piece of aluminum foil here. Now, obviously, oh, before we do that, forgot one step. See, we have our Parmesan cheese here. Let's go ahead and sprinkle some of that on here on the top of each of these, just like this. Now, of course, this is going to bake in to our stuffed peppers, so you're not going to see this when it comes at the end unless you want to put more on, and we may just do that. Just like that. You see how that goes. Alright. Makes a nice little presentation too. I guess for the oven anyway, right? Nobody else is going to see it. Well, that's why I said it. And then if you want to do this at the end, we can certainly do that too. Alright. Just like that. Okay, that's good. That's a good representation right there. And that'll save some for when we do our final presentation. Alright. A little mess off of here. One thing about wearing black, especially with white stuff like that, you gotta be real careful. Anyway, that's what the apron's for here. Alright, let's go ahead and cover this right now with our aluminum foil. We're going to kind of tent it. Obviously, we want to keep as much as we can on the peppers itself, so you kind of want to just tent this like I'm doing. You see how I'm tenting that? And then crimp your sides down, your handle sides down, like so. Okay? And then just sort of bring it around, like this. Okay? And do the same. We'll turn this around here. And then we'll do the same here on the other side. Just kind of bring it around. You don't have to worry about a super tight seal on this. We just want to cover this so it steams. Because we want these peppers to get nice and soft, okay, while we're doing this. Alright, just turn this around a little bit. And don't have to be super neat. There you go, just like that, loosely covered like that. Okay, now what we're going to do, and the reason, and I was going to tell you, the reason for this again is you want your peppers to be steamed. You want them to soften and bake, and this will do it. Now we're going to keep this covered for 1 hour. Okay, this is a 2-hour recipe in the oven. The first hour we're going to keep it covered. Then we'll go in, take this out, uncover the foil, and let it bake uncovered for the second hour. So it's as easy as that. All right, let's get it started. All right, let's get this in the oven. And let the baking commence. All right, well that's all going on. let's go ahead and do another mailbag segment for you. This is our final mailbag segment for this season. This question comes from one of you out there, and it is directed to either myself or one of the cast characters that we have on the show, as we do every week. So let's see what fantastic question you have for us this week on Mailbag.
Mailbag.
Well, hey everyone, it's your Grandma Flo, and I am so excited to be this week's recipient of the mailbag. And one lovely person out there, bless their little hearts, has asked Grandma Flo a question. That person's name is Brian L. And Brian lives in Pensacola, Florida. Now Brian wants to know, Grandma Flo, I see or I've heard that you've been on a farm or you live on a farm. What kind of things do you raise or do you do on that farm? Well, we've had this farm in Wisconsin for many years now. We've done a lot of different things. We've done corn, we've done peas, we've done barley, we've done all kinds of things on this farm. And we've raised chickens and we've raised cows and we've had all kinds of little animals running around too. But you know what? Now I'm retired. Me and Harry are retired now. Now we don't really do much of anything on the farm anymore. I've got my little garden off by the barn area where I have some roses and some annuals, some flowers and stuff. And I still do some tomatoes and some peas and some carrots and I said potatoes, didn't I? I said potatoes, okay. Potatoes, what else do we do? We do corn, a little bit of corn. But you know, it's just a little garden area, and so that's all I really do these days. You know, I'm getting old, so I can't do as much as I'd like to. And we've sold off a lot of the farm to other people and such. We've parceled our land off and such so we could have a nice, comfortable income in our retired years that we're in right now. So, but I still have my little garden. But in the past, we were a full-size farm, and we did a lot of different vegetables. And we did eggs and milk and all kinds of stuff. And we'd go to the local weekend little flea market things they have there. We had a little vegetable market stand that we'd set up. Yes, we did. And we would do that on the weekends. And actually, that's where we met Chef Ron Locke and his family years and years ago. But that's for another story for another time. And I hope I've answered your question, Brian. Thank you so much for writing in and letting us know. If y'all have a question out there, for either myself or for one of the other cast members or for Chef Ron Locke, you can write to us at crl@chefronlocke.com. That is crl@chefronlocke.com, and we will be happy to read your question on Mailbag if we pick it for you. You be the lucky one. And we'll mention your name on here and give you a little nod as well, all right? So, all right, thank you so much again, Brian, for your lovely question. And we're going to go right back now to the Chef Ron Locke Show. All right, I wanted to show you before we put these in for the next hour what this looks like at that midway point. Now, you take a look at these right now. You can see, because we had them covered, they're not really brown or anything, but you see how important it is to tent around the baking dish because it keeps everything intact on top that we put on. Now, surprisingly even, the Parmesan cheese has actually stayed on really nicely. Now, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Luckily, because of course I'm doing this show, it behaved and did its job of what it's supposed to do. So that's what this looks like right now. Now, you can see, I mean, it looks absolutely wonderful. The peppers are still a little tough, and that's what this additional hour uncovered is going to help with, is to really soften those up and cook those. We're going to get that whole convectional heating going on in the oven. And I suspect, as it should, everything on top should brown nicely in the next hour as well. We should get some good browning going on here as well. So, let's go ahead now and put this in our oven again for one more hour. Hold on one second here. There we go. All right. Now, We're going to let those bake for just a little bit there, and when we come back, we are going to have a fantastic presentation of our mom's stuffed peppers waiting for you right here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Alright, we are back for our final presentation of Mom's Stuffed Peppers. Look at this plate right here. You saw what it looked like in the baking dish, right? Before we added a couple little things to our presentation plate. Now, you want to save a little bit of sauce if you can for topping if you choose after it comes out of the oven. I like to put a little more of the sauce on top and then sprinkle a little more Parmesan cheese, which is what we did right there, as you can see in the presentation plate there. You don't have to do that. That's totally up to you. But that's the way that we used to eat it, and it was served to us, and it just is fantastic. It just gives a little bit more oomph, and I love the sauce. The sauce is just fantastic. The vermouth and the ketchup together and the brown sugar, and the little bit of Worcestershire sauce, it really just makes a fantastic little sauce for these stuffed peppers here. So, all right, I'm done talking. I'm gonna start eating. I got my fork, I got my knife, and we're gonna start cutting. You can see, all right, I said I was gonna start cutting. I'm gonna say one more thing though. You can see the pepper here is nicely soft. That is what your objective is when you complete this recipe in the oven. You want to have that nice and soft, and it should pull away from the meat a little bit like it's doing here. Now, I'll tell you one more thing too. I'm sorry, I gotta tell you one more thing. You know, I know, eat, right. Real quick, you know, most of the recipes out there for this stuffed pepper meal generally require you to saute the onions and the hamburger first before you even get started, which is dirtying more dishes, which is taking more time, and it's just, you know, more stuff that you have to do. You see this recipe right here? You ain't got to do that. Now, it takes a little bit more time in the oven. It takes about another hour in the oven. But I'll tell you what, you know, it takes 5 minutes to take the cover off and put it back in the oven. That gives you a lot more leisure time or time to do whatever you want. So, you know, to me, this makes more sense. This makes a lot more sense. So, all right, I am done talking finally. I got my knife and my fork. I'm going to cut into this here. If I can keep my plate still. There we go. Come on, plate, stay still. There. All right, we're just going to take a little taste. I'm not going to go crazy here. All right. Let me go ahead and do this. Let me get my fork here. Stick the knife in there. All right. A little bit of meat, a little bit of peppers here. All right. Let's give this a shot. Just fantastic. Just fantastic. It's perfectly done. You see there's no pink in the middle or anything like that. All right, now I'm going to explain to you while I was chewing that what I was tasting, and we'll take a look at the plate here again. You know, the first thing you taste is the pepper, obviously, and then you're going to taste the meat, the hamburger, and that sauce, that incredible sauce. Like I said, you've got that great vermouth and the ketchup and the brown sugar and the Worcestershire just all really mixed together really nice. And then you can just taste subtle tones of other flavors in there. You get the onion, and then you can actually taste some of the bread, the filler in there a little bit. You can also taste a little bit of the garlic powder, the salt and pepper. It just kind of evens it all. It's just got a wonderful flavor to it. It really does. It really tastes fantastic. And so that, my friends, is Mom's stuffed pepper. All right. Well, this is it, folks. This is it for this season of the Chef Ron Lock Show. I want to thank each and every one of you again for supporting and following our show this season, and for all of your kind words and for all of your great letters and comments you've sent through the last few months. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. We've got a lot of great things in store for you for season 2. I can't wait to show them to you here soon. But in the meantime, we're going to leave you with a final send-off here. So, this is Chef Ron Locke saying to y'all out there, get off that couch and get cooking. And we'll see you next season. You take care now.